Hello everyone. I am making this video to address a topic regarding Aaron Russo's interview by Alex Jones. Now, issues have been raised regarding the part where Aaron talks about Nick Rockefeller, since there is no mention of Nick Rockefeller in any of the Rockefeller family trees that you find online. As a result, some have or might have come to the conclusion on not buying Aaron's words, where he quotes Nick Rockefeller in his interview with Alex Jones, saying the following words that I will now quote. "We, the Rockefellers, funded that. We funded Women's Lib, you know, and we are the ones who got all over the newspapers and television, the Rockefeller Foundation," unquote. Now, you can hear these words in this video here as well, which is basically a clip from the entire interview of Aaron Russo's. And I'll post a link to this in the description section for you to, if you guys are interested in watching the whole video, this video here. Uh, in case if you're interested in watching it. So yeah, I'll post a link to this in the description section. Anyways, moving on. So the problem is that Aaron quotes Nick as having him say, "We the Rockefellers," or "we this," or "we that," while at the same time there is no mention of him in any of the Rockefeller family tree you find on the internet. But before I get into whether or not Nick Rockefeller being mentioned in the Rockefeller family tree is a serious issue or not, I mean, before I even touch upon this topic, I want to first show you the individual who Aaron is talking about is a real person, and his name is Nicholas, or Nick for short, Rockefeller. So, around the 517 mark, Aaron talks about how Nick introduced himself as an attorney when he, meaning Aaron, was running for governor of Nevada. As you can see, this is Nick Rockefeller's picture here. And I'm going to ask you all to compare it with two other pictures of Nick Rockefellers. Okay, so this is one picture of Nicholas Rockefeller. Um, he's next to Mao Dongsheng and two other gentlemen here. And here's a brief description of him. And I'm not gonna read the whole thing though. So I'm gonna start from here. He is, and I quote the highlighted portion, "He is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, the International Institute of Strategic Studies, the Advisory Board of RAND, the Pacific Council on International Policy, the Committee on Foreign Relations in Los Angeles, the Western Justice Center, and has served as a participant in the World Economic Forum and the Aspen Institute," unquote. So therefore yeah, he's a member of the CFR. He's a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, so CFR. So like David Rockefeller, I mean, he is a CFR member. And so this is one picture of this man. This is another picture of this man. And his name is on the bottom, Nicholas Rockefeller, and he's at their RAND dinner. So compare this picture with this picture with this picture, and you tell me whether this is the same person or not. It is. Just look carefully. This, this, this. Different pictures, but same person. And Aaron told us that he was an attorney. Well, the same Nicholas Rockefeller is mentioned here on Bloomberg Business. Nicholas Rockefeller, um, member of advisory board, Rand. What did we just read here? He's a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, the International Institute of Strategic Studies, the advisory board of Rand, and we see a member of advisory board Rand. So again, the same Nicholas Rockefeller here is the same Nicholas Rockefeller here, the same Nicholas Rockefeller here, the same Nicholas Rockefeller here. Again, back to the Bloomberg profile. Um, and it says here, Mr. Nicholas Rockefeller has served as a company director since 1999. Mr. Rockefeller is an attorney with the law firm of Tripp Messinger, Stuber, Pasek, Reddick, and Toby. So he's an attorney, and the same man is also referenced in this article. International business, Asian luxury hotel is near a rare sale. Over here, um, I'll be reading from the first paragraph to the last portion of the second paragraph. So, Singapore, August 2nd, in a relatively small deal with broad implications, an investment firm connected with the Rockefeller family appears to buy a luxury hotel on the island of Bali from a company controlled by one of Indonesia's own wealthy industrial dynasties, according to people close to the buyer and seller. Sirius Semesta intern USA, a company controlled by the Sriwijaya family of Indonesia, plans to sell the 500-room Melia Bali Hotel to Trendwit Holdings Ltd. for approximately $50 million, one of the informants said. Trendwit is a joint venture 70% owned by Rockwest Development, a Rockefeller trust controlled by Nicholas Rockefeller, a California lawyer. The Nicholas Rockefeller here, same Nicholas Rockefeller here, mentioned in this Bloomberg Business profile, executive profile, who is the same guy here, the same guy here, the same guy here. Are you guys with me? I hope you guys are. So, I mean, not only is he a person who has a relationship with the family, but the family have given him control over Rockwest Development, which is their family trust. So this guy is quite significantly close to the family, if you ask me, based on this. And I'm going to post a link to this article in the description section as well as his executive profile here. Yeah, I mean, as mentioned earlier, he's also a member of the CFR. And so, what can we say so far about this individual? Well, number one, he's quite close to the Rockefeller family. I mean, he controls one of their family trusts. I mean, for crying out loud. And as mentioned earlier, like David Rockefeller, he's a member of the CFR, and in a position to know of the CFR's globalist agenda and knowledge on how they plan on carrying it out, as well as the Rockefeller family's role in this age-old agenda that is still being consistently carried out till this day. Point number two. Despite the fact that Nick Rockefeller's name cannot be found in any Rockefeller family tree online, does that make Aaron Russo's source of information, i.e. Nick Rockefeller, an unreliable source? I would say no, it does not. You may not be a member of a family by blood, but but you can still be close enough to the family to know at least few or more of their deepest and darkest secrets. So the sole basis of Nick Rockefeller not having any blood ties and therefore not being mentioned in any of the family in any of the Rockefeller family trees does not make him an unreliable source on the Rockefeller family in any way. That sole basis, again, I say, does not make him an unreliable source on the Rockefeller family in any way. Point number 3. Also, could it be that Aaron Russo, uh, I mean, due to not being in touch with Nick Rockefeller for some time, somewhat incorrectly remembered what Nick Rockefeller told him? For example, let's say Nick Rockefeller spoke of the Rockefeller family involvement in backing up the feminist movement as they instead of as we. Or could it be that Nick Rockefeller, due to having the same last name as the Rockefeller family and being close to that family to a certain degree, felt close enough to the family to refer to them and him as we, due to considering himself as one of them, and as mentioned earlier, at times referring to the Rockefeller family with the pronoun we instead of they. You get what I'm saying? You're with me so far? If anything that I say in this video does not make any sense to you, or you're confused about anything, please do post a question in the comment section so that I can clarify. Anyways, moving on. Or maybe Nick Rockefeller genuinely considers himself related to the Rockefeller family, but in some far out distant manner. Which reminds me of an interesting quote from a Wall Street Journal article. And this is the Wall Street Journal article. I'm talking about Shanghai stalled revival, confusion over exactly who is Rockefeller stymies plans to restore city's famed bun, by James T. Aridi. Now, if you scroll down, you will come across a paragraph that I've highlighted here, and I will quote the highlighted paragraph. Nicholas Rockefeller declined to say where in the Rockefeller family he fits, but the family's patriarch, David Rockefeller, said through an associate that he doesn't recall ever meeting Nicholas. The relationship is probably quite distant, 7th or 8th cousins, according to the associate, Peter Johnson, unquote. So, I mean, for all I know, I mean, maybe, Nick Rockefeller, when he was talking to Aaron about the whole Rockefeller backing of the feminist movement, and the reason why he used the pronoun we, the Rockefellers, could be due to the fact that he considers himself a distant relative of the Rockefeller family in the 7th or 8th cousins like manner. I mean, it's a possibility, at least. Point number 4. Another possible explanation for Aaron Russo's misquotation of Nick Rockefeller could be due to the fact that he was struggling with cancer for some time. Now, why is that important to know? Well, it's because cancer can lead to memory issues at times. Don't believe me? Well, let me show you this article from Moffitt Cancer Center from Moffitt.org. And over here, if you read this sentence, you learn that. Okay, first of all, let me just quote this sentence that I've highlighted here. Cognition has to do with the person's mental process of thinking, learning, remembering, being aware of surroundings, and being aware of surroundings, and using judgment. Unquote. So, I mean, cancer can cause cognitive disorders or cognitive issues that can affect a person's memory. Now, I'm not saying that Aaron Russo had memory loss specifically, because if he did, he probably wouldn't remember anything that Nick told him. But I'm saying that, according to this article, we learned that cognitive disorders can come into place in a person's mind or in a person's brain as a result of cancer that can harm the remembering or the memory aspect of the human brain. In fact, over here, you see a list of things that can be affected cognitively by cancer in a negative way. For example, attention, thinking, awareness, emotion, memory. So, I mean, a person can be cognitively damaged as a result of cancer that can affect their memory in a negative way, and maybe that is something that happened with Aaron's to a certain degree as he was suffering from cancer for some time. Since he was suffering from cancer for some time prior to his interview by Alex Jones. So, I mean, from this we can, I mean, you can. I'll post a link to this article in the description section as well, if anybody's interested. And looking at this article, I mean, we can learn that cancer can cause memory-related issues, which at least gives us an alternate explanation as to why and how Aaron Russo's quotation of Nick Rockefeller addressing the Rockefeller family as we instead of they could have been as a result of that. Now, before I end my video, I just wanted to say, regardless if, worst case scenario, Aaron Russo was a disinfo agent or not, and furthermore, whether the information Aaron provided about Nick Rockefeller and the things he told to him is a true story or not, in the larger picture of things, it does not matter. Even if Alex Jones' interview of Aaron Russo never existed, we would still have and still do have sufficient evidence that the NWO agenda exists, evidence stronger than the ones coming from Aaron Russo's mouth. Personally, I believe Aaron was a sincere and truthful person who may have made a few insignificant memory errors here and there, but in the end, it does not really matter. So to my fellow truthers, let's keep up the good fight and not let these type of things distract us away from what is more important. So anyways, see ya.